we have a little surprise, not on your agenda, but we have a special guest who happened to come into town with some friends. He's going to be talking in Moore County later tonight. But I'd like to introduce from Georgia, Congressman Tom Price, the Budget Committee Chairman from the U.S. And he's going to talk about the budget.
Thanks, Francis. Good afternoon. How are all my fellow patriots out here? Everybody well? I'm really honored to stand and just to share a few words. John and Linda Jarrett have invited me down to Moore County to speak at the Reagan Day dinner this evening, and landed in Raleigh, and they said, how about stopping over at Civitas and saying a few words? And I said, well, I'd love to, but then I looked at your lineup, and I see that you've got Carly Fiorina, who's one of the leading individuals in the nation, in the private sector, and hopefully the public sector as well. You've got John Fund, who's a leading thought maker and individual who's been leading for a long, long time. Then you've got Bob Woodson, who's a huge moral leader in our country. So I don't fit in with all of that, but I thought I'd just share with you a few words about the budget. I've been given the privilege of chairing the Budget Committee in the House of Representatives in this Congress. I'm filling the shoes of a little-known fellow nobody's ever heard of, Paul Ryan, who kind of went on to other things. He's now chairing the Ways and Means Committee. But it really is an incredible honor to chair the Budget Committee. Some of you will know that Admiral Mike Mullen, who was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff a couple of years ago, was asked the question, what's the greatest threat? What's the greatest threat to the United States national security? This is the highest ranking military officer in the country. And he said, the debt. The debt. He could have said anything, but he said the debt. And he said that because what he knows is what you know, and that is that unless we have economic security in this country, we cannot have national security. And with $18 trillion plus of debt, it is absolutely imperative that we get our arms around this and solve these challenges. The budget that we just passed a budget this past week in the House of Representatives, and they passed one in the Senate on Thursday night. So you're about to see something you haven't seen in 10 years. And that's a budget agreement between Republicans in the House and the Senate, which is a good thing. I'm hopeful. I'm an eternal optimist, so I believe that's actually going to happen. But a budget in Washington is two things. It sets the fiscal year numbers to what the Appropriations Committee can spend to in the next year, fiscal year 16. But it also lays out a vision. It lays out a vision for how we would solve the challenges that we face, the programs and the policies that we would put in place to preserve and protect the greatest nation that the world has ever known. And that's what we have done in the House of Representatives, is to lay out that vision. Now, the challenge that we have is to elect good men and women who will actually carry out those policies. A lot of people want to talk about those policies, but we need to enact those policies. So a balanced budget without raising taxes, a vote on a balanced budget amendment, pro-growth tax reform, energy policy that would make us energy independent, saving and strengthening and securing Medicare and Medicaid, all the good things that you know so well. But we've got to get folks elected to office who will actually carry out those policies and not just say that that's what they want to do. That's where you come in. The work that you're doing is so incredibly important. I can't tell you how important it is. It is possible to do this. I believe we will do this, and if you don't believe that, then all you have to do is remember back to 1980 or 1994 or 2010. All these things are possible with political involvement. Let me just close by sharing with you the imperative that we've got to embrace, and that is that we are in the boat we're in right now because of a political decision. The American people made a decision in 2012 to re-elect this guy to the White House. That's a political decision. That's important to appreciate, because that means that the solution is a political decision. And that's why your involvement, your work is so incredibly important. I am so honored to work with you all across this great state and all across this great land as we work to take our country back and move it into the direction that recognizes those wonderful founding principles that allow us to continually pass off to our kids and our grandkids the greater promise and greater opportunity than any other country on the face of the earth. I'm honored to be with you. Thanks so much. God bless you.